Two-thirds of Americans are at risk to experience a blackout. You could be one of them, sitting in the dark and cold for hours, for days, maybe even weeks. Are you ready to protect your family? You could be with Patriot Power Solar Generator 2000X. Folks say this new solar generator from 4Patriots is worth its weight in gold. Why? Because this generator has double the capacity and is expandable so you can run the big appliances like your fridge even longer, or other devices like an electric blanket, microwave, RV air conditioner, or even an electric wheelchair. You also get 12 outlets, including 4 AC outlets, so you can power more devices at once, and 2 USB C outlets, which can charge your phone 20 times faster than a regular plug. Best of all, this new solar generator is fume free, safe to use inside, and never needs gas, ever. Over 150,000 Americans trust Patriot Power generators. Go to 4patriots.com/VTTGW to get your solar generator now. You'll even get a solar panel included free. Oh, what's up, Trash Talkers? What's going on, Gruntworks Nation, and anybody else watching on Face Man's intergalactic conspiracy theory channels that we have? So we don't really know what's going on. Hey, but this is a special Monday edition of the a quasi Trash Talk hour, a little bit shorter. But we're on here with our partner and proud sponsor for Patriots, who is represented by Seth Weller, and we'll get to his introduction in a second. But just so that those of you coming on and those of you listening on audio afterwards on our podcast, this year we're going to really focus on building who we are, as we've had such a great response to our mission in promoting veteran-owned businesses, which is part of a bigger system that we aim at tackling to lower the veteran suicide rate and the first responder suicide rate by providing options for work, by providing resources all around the country. And so we've grown so fast, and it's still kind of funny and also sad that a lot of you, when we comment, don't know who we are. Yet you're following our page and commenting on our shows, and it's like, wait, this is what we do. And yes, it's absolutely free if you're a veteran-owned business to come on and promote with us. So feel free to message me anytime. Don't care what you do. We've had some high-powered guests on here, and we've also had somebody who sold goats. It is what it is. But it is those of you who've been watching for the past couple of months, you see that little 4Patriots logo up there, and then 4Patriots going across the screen. They have partnered with us because they also believe in the mission that we have to promote veteran-owned businesses and help lower the veteran and first responder suicide rate. I mean, why wouldn't you? But they actually are putting their action to words. I mean, the words to action, excuse me. And they are helping us out and giving our community an awesome discount on both the 3-month survival plan and the generator. So without further ado, Seth, introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey, man, thanks for having me on. So I'm the lead preparedness consultant at 4Patriots. So we've got a lot of big things going into this new year. So wanted to be able to get on here and share that with you, and of course all of your followers. So yep. Fun fact, the majority of our customers are veterans, and all ages, all walks of life, right? So, and all branches, of course. So one of the big things that we're launching off this year, not just our 2000X, like you were talking about, but we're getting into more of an educational program. So I've been in the preparedness space for well over 25 years. One of the biggest things that we found is that a lot of people go out and they'll buy the 4Patriots products, they'll buy other products, but they'll throw it in the closet, under the bed, stow it in the garage. But in the event of an emergency, they don't know how that stuff works. They don't know what it can do for you. They don't have a plan for themselves and their loved ones. So that is our primary focus, right? Becoming the thought leader in that space this new year.
Yeah, and it's interesting point that you bring up there about how they'll buy it, but they don't have the plan. And I guess that's more of a an American oh shoot, what if this happens here? I should probably buy this, right? What if another superstorm hits the Northeast, right? And we don't have power for 3 months, right? Some people, I think, we're out for longer than that. And it's like, well, what do I do? And then maybe your ad pops up, and it's like, well, now that you have it, great. But what is your actual plan? And we have a real story about this because our buddy one of our hosts on the Trash Talk Hour, when he was perusing the website and was reading some of the comments, somebody was like, "Well, you need water to boil this," and yeah, right. So he was kind of laughing because if there's a disaster and you're stranded or you don't have power, you're gonna need water anyways. So like
Yeah.
that better be in your plan, all right, to have some water. And another thing we want to cover too is preppers get a really bad rap because people go right to the extreme and they think you're the guys building that bunker, with everything for 17 years saved up. But explain a little bit about that. Like what does it mean to be prepared?
Oh man. So right, we know that the Boy Scout motto is be prepared, right? So Lord Baden-Powell, right, when he founded Scouts, that was the main go-to, right? Be prepared. And over the years he was asked, well, be prepared, like be prepared for what? And his response was, well, for any old thing. So the concept of preparedness is being in a state of readiness, right? Like we're calling this survival training. I hear the term survival. A lot of us, as veterans understand that aspect of survival, but survival is a reactionary skill versus preparedness is proactive. So it's that idea of it's not just about having that bunker for all the things you see in post-apocalyptic films, but it's being ready for whatever might happen, whether it's loss of a job or loss of a loved one or a house fire or even something a little bit bigger like a hurricane and or an earthquake. And talking about going out and buying that stuff at the last minute. I call that French toast weather.
Right.
All the milk and eggs and bread is gone. Right. How many people were out there scavenging at the last second, for toilet paper, as COVID hit? I mean, that's a very reactionary mindset versus what we're doing at For Patriots is we're promoting, that proactive ability to understand how everything works together and what you need now prior to the event, right?
Right.
Little play on something you'll be familiar, right? Proper planning prevents poor preparedness. We just left that up segment out. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was always fun explaining to people. I was a ranger instructor in the swamp phase of ranger school, and I know it's like, hey, how many decisive points of an operation can you have, right? And the answer is only one. And then so when you determine, and the decisive point of an operation is when if we achieve that on an offensive operation, we can't lose, right? And usually it's where you can multiply your combat power, on the mission and or take out their crucive weapons, and now we have freedom of maneuver, and we're going to win. Regardless of how ugly it gets, we've hit that decisive point. We're going to win, and you have to have two courses of action for that part of the plan. Like you have to be prepared if your first plan doesn't work, right? And sad you bring up a house fire. We were driving by and going to the store with my wife today, and there was a house fire, and it didn't look like a very good one. Obviously, none usually are. And yeah, you bring up a good point. Like I want to get to the audience, and again, a lot of people will listen to this on audio afterwards. You have like buying a 3-month food supply, right? It isn't being a crazy prepper. Like you're having it there in case something happens. And like you said, Seth, that was like, oh, nothing's going to go wrong. Well, you have a virus called COVID that everybody lost their minds about, and we were having a lot of trouble getting places, getting things, and the chat will probably blow up with a bunch of other political stuff, but that's not what we're talking about. But that is a problem too. If the politics in your area do something that causes a problem, right? You might have that. You will not might. You will have that 30-day buffer. All right, where you.
I mean, we talk about it's about. We teach a whole course on making assessments, right? And so many people get caught up in the event itself and why it's taking place, right? Then what are the repercussions and consequences, and how do you deal with that, right? I mean, you can't control whether or not there's civil unrest. You can go out there and scream all you want, but it doesn't change it. What you can control is how well you get through it, right? And the event itself, but then you got the recovery, and then how do you come out on the other side? And for those that are looking at longer, type of events, right? There's a legacy that can be formed of that. You don't have to come out, completely beat down, right? I mean, you can actually come out stronger than when you went in. Look at the Great Depression.
Oh, absolutely. That's a good point. And then we got some people coming in on the chat thread. You got Brian from South Appalachia. He's coming in saying hi. And then we have Morgan Bracy from Middle Tennessee. Mike's coming in from, looks like it says Southeast Ohio. And let's see, Chris said we had such a bad storm here in the VA. The whole town I live in had no power for 4 days. Yeah. And again, these aren't things that you can't be prepared for. So that's kind of what we were, kind of prefacing what we're talking about. But you go back to your introduction. Now, did you have any service time? Did you serve at all?
Yes, I did the Navy.
Yep, exactly. I already knew that. I'm just telling. I'm bringing it up
That's-
for you. So, and
Yeah,
you were a
I've got-
submariner, right?
Yeah, right. No.
You're either a pilot or a submariner. That's everybody in the Navy.
Yeah, everybody went to Top Gun too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's how that works. Now, full veteran family. So we had Air Force and a lot of Navy, and then my son went ahead and screwed up and joined the Army. So he's with the 10th Mountain up right now, and so
yeah, he's freezing up there in 18th Airborne Corps, 10th Mountain, climb to glory. And that's we won't plug him too much. Shameless plug of one of our other sponsors, 10th Mountain Whiskey. So yeah, we do work for booze as well. But they started their distillery on where 10th Mountain started in World War I in Vail, Colorado. So they do a lot of help with a lot of Army units. But on the bottom there, everybody watching, and if you're listening, you won't be able to see it. It's forpatriots.com. All right. When you go there, you said it's in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah. Click on the top right-hand corner, right? You're going to see Learn, and then you're going to scroll down. It's going to say Online Courses. So that's going to give you a full rundown on everything that 4Patriots is offering for free for you. And again, this, a lot of people are like, okay, well, we don't want to hear about your 2000X, and we don't want to hear about your 3-month kits, right? I mean, but we don't just do that. Tomorrow night, we're doing a comms course. Rolling into March, we're going to do a night vision course, but we also get into everything as far as all the stuff that's required for preparedness, but not just that, how it works, what it can do for you, so you can get a written plan, right? I mean,
that's an interesting point. A written plan. Why is that important?
First off, it's not just you, right? Most of us, first off, you can't do it alone, so it's not just going to be you. But you've got friends, you've got family, right? And we served, and we have a little bit of a better understanding because of that. But my spouse didn't, right? And only one of my kids is. So this means they don't have those same understandings. So having that written down means that now we've got, we've got all the ops plan in place that then they can implement in the event I'm not home, right? They can get the whole the whole thing rolling. But also it removes those elements of confusion when the event strikes. It also takes a little bit of an element out of that overwhelming sensation when dealing with that in an emergency, and gives you the ability to kind of, in a way, once you've learned it, it's putting in that muscle memory that we're familiar with, right? So things just roll exactly the way they need to. So having that in place, not only that, you're going to remove disagreements, right? There is no chain of command in my house.
Yeah, right.
Right. But so
we are live too, so careful. Something might come
right,
flying around the corner.
Yeah, and not at work either. My team's on here tonight, by the way, in the chat. So
nice.
Yeah, them as well, right? So everybody does this like a boat team, right? And in an emergency, you need to be like that boat team, rolling in the same direction, the same way. You got one side that's not pulling their weight or doesn't know how to pull their weight. That boat just goes in circles. And the last thing you want to be in an emergency trying to get through it, right? Trying to work, navigate that is, in the middle of whatever evolution you're in your plan, spinning around.
Right. And for those who are just joining us live again, and then those of you listening, all right, we've always looked for a good fit for somebody who would want to partner with us in what our mission set is. And our mission, you got Carla saying 4Patriot webinars are great, full of lots of information coming on YouTube. And again, we have a YouTube channel, and we're shadow banned on there because we have the word veteran in our title, right? So go there and like us and subscribe, even though we're actually a really fun show, and we don't tell a bunch of war stories. Sometimes it happens, but yeah. So those of you watching and listening, we've been looking for a partner that kind of fits our audience, and and we do have a lot of people who watch that are concerned about this. But then again, with social media, getting that message out to where it's not a spam, it's not scamming, it's not a spam, right? It's an actual organization that, has done a lot of service for helping veterans. I saw a post that you had on Veterans Day last year, and it was about like how many veterans you've helped, discounts, hired veterans. Can you have any knowledge, and can you speak on that, of what you guys have been doing for the veteran and active duty community since you've started?
We work with, we work with a ton of veterans organizations. We also work with other emergency preparedness responding organizations. And like I said, it's funny because, especially going into this new year and looking at the data that 4Patriots has as far as our customer base, the majority of our customer base is veterans. And, on Veterans Day, we do the free 72-hour kits and all of that. But most importantly, we want to be able to express an understanding, right, and a gratitude for all veterans and everything they've done, but not only that, their families. So like I was saying, right, preparedness is not just about that one individual. It is about that entire family. So we want to help veterans and their families be prepared for, well, like Baden Powell said, any old thing.
Right.
Real quick, it's this thing where, what it's like to go without a shower for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, longer, right? You know what it's like to literally eat every meal out of a bag that isn't fit for, well, anyway. So,
yeah.
But, right, lowest bidder stuff. My wife doesn't want to do that. I don't want my wife to do that. I don't want my kids to do that. I don't want other people in my group or my loved ones to do that. So instead of looking at this from that survival mentality, going out and living in a cave or, keep morale up, right? I'm all about down comforters now, hot coffee,
right?
Hot shower.
Right? Yeah. Now that I'm out, I'm bougie, man. I'm like,
yeah.
Whoa, I ain't going outside. It's cold out, man. I'm gonna stay right here.
Yeah, no. If it drops below 55, I'm freezing my butt off. I had no desire to go outside. But again, proper planning. Right now, at least I'm not forced to wear the uniform of the day and still freeze.
Yeah, exactly. And even, I'm an infantry guy, so you didn't put on snivel gear because then you just got made fun of. So like you're purposely just destroying yourself so that you don't get made fun of. Doesn't make any sense, but it was fun. It was great. Yeah. One of the things we've done and part of our growth as Veteran Trash Talk is we encourage civilians to join our pages, where a lot of times they just want to know, they want to find out, how they can help. And we always say this on our shows, that you're never going to understand what a veteran's been through. However, if we want to lower the veteran suicide rate, veterans are in communities. They're not on an army base and on a naval base, right? Like, so if you could just maybe have a simple conversation, where you can relate somewhat, or you can even say, hey, I watched this Veteran Trash Talk show. Are these guys full of crap? And then, they'll watch it like, no, they're squared away. And then it starts a conversation. So I see that with 4Patriots, like what you said about training your family. And one of the things I get from a lot of civilians that comment to us privately, like email us, is, thank you so much for doing that. My nephew was in the military. I have a better understanding of, some of the things he or she struggled with. And now with 4Patriots, we can give civilians who, they just don't know about planning. It's not, we're not making fun of any of you that are watching. I didn't know about real planning until I got in. Like when I was in college, I playing football, somebody planned my workouts for me. Like I didn't do that, right? But you learn to plan. And then when you become a leader, right, you learn to plan for others, right? And so I love that point, and I think that'll be very massive for the Veteran Trash Talk community, especially the civilians watching, is picking the mind of a veteran to understand how they plan, and then just trying it, right? And like we always say on our show, keep trying until you perfect it. And like you said, and perfection might never come, but you're going to be really good at it, And like you said, when an emergency happens, you might have thought you were fully prepared. Right? Take some notes, write it down. What did you do wrong? Right? What can we do next time? Yes. Again, we're not talking about the apocalypse. So again, these are for the people listening, just joining in. And again, say hi where you're watching from. We're on all the channels, Gruntworks and Veteran Trash Talk. But again, go ahead.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they take this as preparedness is doom and gloom. It's not. Right. It's building an insurance plan no differently than you've got, home, auto, medical insurance. Okay. And again, it's not about getting ready to go out and live in the woods either. I mean, this is just simple things that you can do if you do it the proper way, right? That is going to provide an assurance of that insurance, right? Learning how this stuff works. That's why, joining us, at the For Patriots, we've got a customer education team now. We're hosting these webinars. You can, if you go to the forpatriots.com, learn, it drops down online courses. Look at the courses we're offering. We're not just promoting products, guys. We're promoting full-blown preparedness. And we've got a huge community of both veterans, and civilians that are like-minded. But not only are they like-minded, they're same page progressing. This means they're actually doing it. How many people do you see in social media, right? And all these, and all the YouTube channels, right? The prepper YouTube channels. And you go on there and you're like, why is that dude spray painting, right? Rattle canning his AR literally on the hood of his car. You're like, I don't want to trust that guy.
Yeah.
Right. But, gaining that experience, right? Learning how this stuff actually does what it's supposed to do for you in an emergency on your own, and then sharing it within this community and then them doing it too. I mean, that makes a world of difference. Not only that, the civilians want to talk to you. And by the way, you're going to want to talk to them because some of their mindset, right? They don't understand, right? They're not used to the fact that every time supply runs out, the mule shows up or they're dropping off cases of water, right? If they get hurt, there's no casevac, right? There's no, right? There's not another case of MREs getting kicked out of the back of a deuce and a half. You have to be fully independent and responsible for you and your family in the event of an emergency. So bouncing these ideas off each other in this community is outstanding, right? And it's going to be extremely beneficial for you in the event of an emergency, because the more people that are prepared, the easier an event, long-term event especially, would be on the entire status quo, right? On all the masses. Because the have-nots always want what haves have, and we need a lot less have-nots.
And another fascinating point, and like Buddy always says on the show, he's like, if it ever, and again, for those of you listening and those of you just tuning in, when we say emergency, we don't mean an apocalypse, but, and again, an apocalypse, whatever, at least you're ready for that too. But we're talking just about a week, a week of no power. All right. Oh, imagine having a solar generator to plug something in, maybe get something out if you're in trouble. Something that simple, right?
Well,
to where,
yeah. When's the last time you went to the grocery store and priced food?
Oh yeah,
right.
So yeah.
You got a fridge and freezer full of food, and the power goes out. Think of that investment that you worked for that you're going to lose for want of a generator, right? And not a gas generator. I don't know if you. I mean, I sold mine. I mean, running with solar, right? No noise, right? I don't have to stock fuel for it. I don't have to treat fuel for it, right? And it's ready to go. I don't have to get up in the middle of the night and go and fill it back up. It does everything I need to do, and all from inside the house, other than when I run the panels out during the day. It just makes sense.
For sure. And then another thing I want to hit on is what you talked about, is this being better for the community. If you're sharing your ideas and your community is becoming more prepared, again, just for a tornado, for an earthquake, for a really bad storm that knocks out power, right? And you got now you almost have like a neighborhood cell, right? That is prepared, right? And who knows? Maybe you guys talk. It's like, hey, somebody can stock up on first aid stuff. Somebody can stock, and now you're helping out a community. Which I'm gonna now turn to the first responders, because when we first started, we were a little more narrow focused and looking at veterans and active duty during COVID, and then we started bringing some first responders on. And first responders are your neighbors, they're your brothers, they're your sisters, right? Just like veterans are human beings, and we're American citizens, right? We're there. And the stuff that first responders have to go through every single day, right, is so hard. And the mental, what they call it, moral decay, right, where they're witnessing a society they're trying to help turn against them, and or it's just rough. But imagine being prepared so that a first responder doesn't have to worry about you.
Exactly.
Like you just freed up an asset for maybe an older person who can't do anything, or some kids are struggling. But talk about that with the first responder, if you don't mind. With a couple minutes left. Talk about that with the first responder outreach and what you got.
You,
You guys doing?
you know, that's, we do a lot with both veterans and first responders, but it's, we prepare, or excuse me, we provide a lot of food, and of course, monetary, to be able to help them
No, that's
respond.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, to help them to be able to respond to particular, disasters, at the time they strike. But again, look at exactly what you were saying. I mean, that's a nail on the head right there. It's great. As Four Patriots, we love doing that. And of course, I know that you like working, with the first responders as well and supporting them. But you, as an individual, everybody listening to this tonight, as an individual, the better prepared you are, and for the longer period of time, man, you're taking so much off of their plate. I mean, there is nothing better when you can literally step outside and say, "Hey, I'm good." Take that bottle of water, take the case of MREs next door, right? Or in fact, you know what? I'm going to help them out too. Take it up the street. I mean, that is one thing that you can do. It's not just about putting back. You were talking about 3 months versus 1 week, right? 1 is none, 2 is one, 3 is best. Make your assessment how long it's going to last, but make sure that you're preparing for you and all your loved ones to take that weight off of the rest of the community.
Nice. Yeah. Very, very true. And again, we always see it in times of tragedy where communities come together, right? And they start working, right? Now, like, again, we always talk about this about being prepared. You're not a prepper. Well, kind of close it off with this. I'll give you the last word. But as a community, when you're talking and you're talking about, hey, look what happened in Clarksville when that tornado went through, and Buddy lives there by Austin P, and they're going there, and everybody comes together and helping. It's like, just think about how much more valuable you can be as a community if you just talk about preparing for anything that goes on. So, like, as a community, right?
With this as the preparedness community, everybody talks about OPSEC, right? Operational security. I'm not going to tell anybody about what I have. I'm not going to tell anybody about what I'm doing. I'm cool with that. But you can still encourage other people to become better prepared and properly prepared. If learn what your stuff does, right? It was once said that, because this will get something right here, but a boxer said, the plan goes out the window the first time you get punched in the face. Look, that's not true, guys. Right? Proper planning prevents poor preparedness. We have built-in redundancies in the plan. You're not going to get that without understanding everything you've got, having it, right? Number one, but understanding how it works and getting it written down to where you can make a proper assessment of it, where you can properly evaluate it. And I know we're running out of time, but again, come join us over at Four Patriots. Again, we're not just here to sell you generators, right? We want to help you with whatever you purchased, build that plan so that way you and your loved ones will be able to deal with, whatever life throws at you. And again, it's loss of a job. I've eaten a lot of freeze-dried food. It could be, the death of a loved one, as far as, financially preparing yourself for that, and emotionally, psychologically. And it could be, an earthquake or a hurricane, some sort of a natural disaster, or just literally a short-term power outage. But for those of you that want to go big, I mean, we deal with that stuff too. We just did an EMP class on the 13th, right? That's big in the news right now. We do talk about, social economic collapse. We do talk about all those big things that, people are concerned about, but you're just a little too nervous the moment to really talk about it out there because you're afraid people are going to think but no, we cover it all. And we're, again, an understanding community of people that are starting out in this and people who have been doing it for years and years and years. At least come check us out on a Monday night or take one of the classes. I haven't had anybody yet attend and not come back, because that's just the type of people we are.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Seth, for coming on and bringing a face to what we're talking about at Four Patriots, and
Sure.
for the rest of everybody watching in the community. Four Patriots is supporting our mission, right? They're supporting our mission in promoting veteran-owned businesses and lowering the veteran and first responder suicide rate. They, like I said, they put action to it, and they're giving our audience a discount. They're giving our audience special things that they can do. And like, again, Seth just said, free classes. So go to fourpatriots.com and do the free class and learn a little bit. Got Lisa in the chat. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, learn a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is nobody else does this. This is a comprehensive plan, start to finish. We were talking in the beginning, right? Well, you need water for that food. Yes, you do. You also need a way to heat it. Do you really want to be outside rubbing sticks together or flicking bic to, to get a fire going out in the rain when you could literally take, this generator right here and run a 500-watt hot plate to cook everything you need in the comfort and security of your home. Right? Everything bounces together, guys. Let us help you understand how to do that.
That's a good point, because if you've ever watched the shows, when I get on my soapbox, I can't stop talking, and that's part of the reason why I started a podcast, because I love to talk. So you might as well have a podcast to do it. But like I said, I always talk about how it's what things that plagues us in the Westerns. We have a great society. It's one of the greatest societies ever created by man in America and Western society. But we're very linear. Like the English language is very linear. Oh, this will fix that. This will fix that. But you got to think of it as a complex system, right? And like you said, everything comes together with it to where just because you bought the food, great. All right, now let's talk about the system. Really excited to have you guys partner with us. Really excited to promote your organization because of what you're doing for us. And again, you on VTT Official, that's our support group where people go on and have a good time. I know a lot of people are watching on there. So just go to 4patriots.com. You don't have to buy anything today, but it'd be cool if you did. You don't have to, but sign up for one of the classes, right? And then get well versed. And again, if you're one of the civilians that watch us, we love you. Take the class and then go ask your veteran, neighbor or your first responder neighbor or family member and say, hey, I learned this in this class. Is any of that worth it? Watch what they say back, right? Just see what they say.
And we're doing for those of you who move faster, we're doing one-on-one consults too.
Oh, so, nice.
So even if you just want to chat, reach out. Right? Reach out. I mean, we want to talk. If you've got any, ideas as far as additional stuff that 4Patriots can do for the veteran and first responder community, we're all in. We're all in. That's why we're here. So
yeah. Thank you so much, Seth, for coming on. And pay attention, everybody. The next couple months coming up, our Green Beret buddy Beckwith. All right, he's going to be taking his son backpacking in New Zealand, and all he's packing is 4Patriot stuff. So he is going on a line, and he's going to videotape it, and it's going to be. And he's again, those of you who watch the show, he's the soldier. He's got every qualification. I think he's even a Jedi Master on top of all other masters. So really excited to see what he does in New Zealand. But Seth, again, thanks for coming on, and you were awesome on this show. So I'm gonna invite you back just to be a host on the Trash Talk Hour, right?
Yeah,
bring me back. We can make some. We always say in our show is real warriors making fun of other real warriors. So we'd love to have you on and get after it. So everybody watching, thank you, the 4Patriot family that's on the chat thread and watching. We really love what you're doing with us and helping our community grow as it is. And we'll see you guys the next time.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching and listening. And now a word from our sponsor, 4Patriots. In a startling description, the UN food chief warned the world with the words, knocking on famine's door. He called what we're facing a perfect storm of a perfect storm. And he's not alone. Barron's published that a food shortage could be coming, even in the U.S. Farmers see it too. John Boyd Jr., a fourth-generation farmer, told Fox News that we're going to see empty food shelves in the coming months. That's why getting survival food is more important than ever now. Create your own stockpile of the best-selling 4Patriots survival food kits. It's not ordinary food. We're talking good for 25 years super survival food, hand-packed in a family-owned facility in the USA and giving jobs to over 200 Americans. They have different delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners. You can make these meals in less than 20 minutes. Just add boiling water, simmer, and serve. And right now, for the next few days, listeners of the Veteran Trash Talk podcast will get 10% off their first order at 4patriots.com by using the code VTTGW. Go to 4patriots.com and use the code VTTGW to start